Hey guys, welcome to Girl Meets Green. My name's Norma, your host of whatever, and we are jumping in, continuing Perfect Match review. This is episodes 5 through 8. This is where things get. let's just jump right in. We got a lot to talk about. Fran goes on her date with Damien. Of course they kiss, and she's like, "Oh my god, greatest kiss! Oh my god." Honestly, I think they just wanted to have sex with each other. I don't think there's any actual like connection there. Inez goes on a date with Bartise. It seemed like maybe they liked each other, but like, it seemed to go well as far as we know. Let's go with that. It seemed like it went well. Francesca apparently ends up telling Georgia that Chase has a girlfriend outside of the show that he lives with. He denies it, says that the girl they're referring to doesn't even live in the same country, blah, blah, blah. Because I guess it was like TikTok videos and photos and stuff. And he was like, she was more versed in social media. So people started to ship us and that's how that happened, blah, blah, blah. Georgia doesn't believe it. Georgia's like, I don't know about that, sir. He's like, I really feel like we have a connection here, da, da, da. He's blowing smoke up her booty. Again, blowing smoke up somebody else's booty because he don't want to go home. And right now the choice is up to the girls. Fran, of course, lets Dom know she's gonna match with Damien. He's crushed. He's like, she was it. I'm going home. I'm going home. Inez pulls him aside to try to be like, no, like, you can't go home. Don't let her ruin this for you, da, 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 da. Now, I thought she was gonna be like, stay with me. But she doesn't, apparently. I don't know what happened there. But they would have been so good. So good, so cute together. So anyways, yeah, like I said, she doesn't do that. So she just talks to him. I think he's still kind of like, I want to go home. But also, he is listening to everyone and what they're saying. Like, it's a great experience. Don't let her ruin it for you. There's other girls here, there's other people here that could be your perfect match because it obviously wasn't her type shit, right? He ends up telling Francesca he loves her while they're hugging. So there's that. We'll talk about that though. We'll get to that. So we get another beautiful scene with Chase and Georgia. Honestly, unhinged would probably be a better adjective for what happens there. He is like, I want to be solid for you, like, it's me and you, and I wanted to show you that. Like, I wanted to express that to you with a grand gesture. That's what he said, a grand gesture. And in his confessional, he's like, I got one more thing up my sleeve. Can we guess what that thing was? I bet you can't. I bet you can't. Gives her a jewelry box. What's inside? It's a rock. Not a ring, not a rock. A literal rock from the floor, from the earth. A rock. And she's just cracking up. She's just cracking up with people about it later. I don't know what kind of last move in your pocket that was, but sir, you need a new one. Where do you get the rock? Where do you get the box? Like, sorry. I was watching someone's review and they were like, can we please get the footage of him looking for this rock? Because that would be hilarious, and I agree. Basically, Nick burned his bridge with Inez. They wake up the next morning and he basically tells her, like, I'm just not feeling you like that. Like, I think we're more of a friend's vibe. And he tries to get with Izzy, but now Izzy is like, Izzy and Shane are actually enjoying each other. So it's like, eh. And Izzy's like, you also messed up. Like, you should have just chosen me that night. So now the choice is up to me, baby. You better pray. So essentially everyone is mingling, trying to figure it out. And so let's get into matches. Georgia ends up deciding to match with Dom. She pulls him aside and she's the one that's like, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay for me. And so he stays with her. And we can almost immediately see he's kind of just, switched over that loyalty to Georgia just like that. Fran obviously gets upset about this, but like, why, for what? Only she understands. In a shocking twist of events, we end up getting Izzy and Bartise matching. He talks to her, convinces her that they got a vibe going, and she just matches with him without talking to the other guys. We have Joey and Carousel, and then Fran and Damien. And then poor Inez is left to choose between Shane, Nick, and Chase. We know she's not choosing Chase because she ain't dumb. And he done let everybody in on his plan. So he don't got no cards left to play. And then we have Nick and Shane. She's obviously not choosing Nick, who was like basically like, we just friends. Ugh. So it leaves her with Shane. So Inez and Shane match back up. And she's like, maybe we can like bring this spark back up, figure out what it was we liked about each other. Chloe and Carousel win this one. I'm pretty sure it was just like they stood in a line and organized themselves from most compatible to least. Yeah, that's what it was. And then that ended up being the challenge, and so they won because everybody like put them first. We are left on a cliffhanger with who they are choosing in the boardroom to go on dates. Moving on to episode 6, we get who they've matched up. They've matched up Dom to go on a date with Colony and Shane on a date with Chloe. I loved Chloe. She's from the circle. You know, they do Dom because, you know, Carousel and Francesca. She's like Francesca's little puppy at this point, so she's gonna do whatever is being told of her or whatever she thinks her friend will like. As I mentioned, Dom is officially like loyal to the ground to Georgia, so he essentially ends up telling Colony that, kind of, and later like introduces her to Bartise. Like he tries to make a connection for her, like, you know, I want you to stay. So like he tries to kind of connect her so she can stay. Francesca is still tripping about the fact that Georgia kept Dom there. She's talking about how it would be better for her if Dom was gone. It would be less uncomfortable. She could actually get to know Damien and be the way she wants to be with him and all this crap. And oh, how do you say he loves me but he's here with Georgia? Like, first of all, people, things are not black and white. Like, someone could say they love you and then you do some messed up stuff and they're like, okay, so clearly this ain't that, and move on. Like, why do they have to dwell on you for a certain amount of time or like be sad? Like, she wanted him to just like go home sad and he didn't. He switched it, like, but they're never her to be acting like the victim. Like when she sees him kissing and she's like, well, now I can kiss Damien however I want. It's like, girl, bye. You probably could have been kissed him and Dom would have just been like, all right, do you. Like, you already, like, and you did it. You went on that date over staying with him. You chose that date over staying with him. So leave him alone. Why are you worried about what he's doing? And why does he have to go home because it makes you uncomfortable? Well, then you go home. How about that? How you like them apples? Which of course leaves Damien looking like a dang clown. Because I'm like, your girl is over here stuck and focused and obsessed on what this dude is doing. While you're over here pretending that you guys are like in love. Come on now. Ridiculous. By the end, we have our normal matches. We have Joey and Carousel, Fran and Damien, Dom and Georgia, and then we have Inez and Bartise. Basically, he ends up like deciding to choose her to get to know her better or something. I don't know. I don't know if it was a strategic move or Carousel just convinced him and she has a plan, but he picks Inez. And then Shane picks Chloe. I don't remember what this next challenge was for sure. But I'll like type it in here when I remember. Point is, Fran and Dom win that one, and then we're moving on to episode 7. Episode 6, they leave us on a little cliffhanger of like Damien coming back alone, and everyone's thinking Francesca chose herself again to go on a date. I kind of knew it was a joke. So we go into the next episode 7, and it was a joke. She didn't. She's there with him. So they have matched Inez with Will, who is also from the mole. Apparently, Dom and Will have some sort of beef, whether it be due to the show or whatever. I don't know. There's animosity there. And then they pair up Chloe with her ex, Mitchell. They're both in the circle, but apparently her and Mitchell dated for about 6 months before this show. And so Fran is like, you know, I know what happened with them, and so I think they have a lot to talk about still. Which I think is corny. I think it's lame, especially when we see like Mitchell's true colors. So it's like, if you knew about like what happened with the breakup, then you would have known better than to match her with him again. She's being conniving, she's being sneaky, she's being the villain that she is and tries to act like she's not. During this little rematch up party, Inez, I think, is trying to let Bartise know that she wants to choose Will. She went on a date with him. It felt like everything was enjoyable, so she really wants to explore that. At which Bartise proceeds to show his clownery once again and starts talking about how he picked her up off the ground and da-da-da, and she should choose him. And all of those wonderful things that, like, you just knew Bartise was just, like, such a wonderful guy. She sarcastically says, like, just booty cheeks clownery, like, get him out of here. To catch you up on the matches for episode 7, we still have Joy and Carousel, we still have Fran and Damien, we still have Dom and Georgia. Now we have Inez and Will, and Chloe and Mitchell, because Chloe picks Mitchell over Shane. Which at the end of the episode, it was kind of funny. They jump into their infinity pool and the water like falls on Bartise and Shane. Shane's upset about it, gets up to leave, slips a little bit again, gets even more upset. Poor guy. Poor guy. But honestly, I think Shane needs therapy or something, because he be going, them roid rages he be on, and I'm not saying accusing him of being on roids, but like, you know, he acts like it. So this next challenge, if I'm not mistaken, it's the soap challenge. That's what the last challenge was. Fran and Damien won the soap challenge thing. Like trying to get the ping pong ball out by squeezing these sponges that were put on. Anyways. This next challenge is this like slide situation, and they have cute or cringy, where Nick is stating these different facts. So like, using your partner's toothbrush, and you would say whether it's cute or cringy, stuff like that. Every time you're wrong, you step up on the platform, and it's like basically you have 4 to get wrong before you have to like slide down into the bubbles foam situation and like lose the challenge. So Inez and Will win. Honestly, I think Will just like cuddled up to Inez because he wanted into the house. I don't think he liked Inez in the way he was trying to like act like he liked her, because then suddenly he's like, you know, on the date I was vibing with her, but now like we're completely different. Like, sir, go somewhere, you're not fooling anyone. We do get to see who they pick. Now at this point I'm like, Will has some sort of vendetta against Dom, which I'm so confused, because it seemed like they buried the hatchet. They were like, you know, we're all good bros, blah blah blah. But then he was Dom on a date with Diamond, which not only is that a shitty thing to do to Diamond, but like, you know, Dom's loyal to Georgia. What was the point of that? He goes on this date. Poor Diamond is expecting like a date to get into the show, etc., etc. And Dom is just like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't know why they keep putting me on these dates, but I got a girl. But he makes a plan with her. He tells her who she should pick and yada, yada, yada. But still just like jacked up. Then we have... Then we have Inez, who chooses to put Francesca on a date with a girl named Abby. Switching it up. Because, you know, if we remember, Francesca's bisexual, if you didn't already know that. Damien loves it, etc., etc. Damien's obsessed with the idea of her being a bisexual queen. So then we get Abby into the show, who is also a bisexual queen. I did want to talk about it because I need your opinion. So definitely sound off in the comments once you've heard what I have to say. This felt kind of queer baity to me. I know in the technical sense of what the term is, it's not, because typically it's like they act like something's gonna be on the show, something queer is gonna be on the show, and it's not. And so with Abby actually being on the show and us seeing her and Francesca, technically it's not, but it still did feel almost like they got so much backlash because of, you know, not being more inclusive about that in their other shows, Ultimatum, Love is Blind, etc., that they tried to put it in this one, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, not only does it feel very queerbaity, like, come watch this show because there's two bisexual women on here, but I felt like it just made it so stereotypical, because it's like, logistically speaking, you can't create a show like with straight people and people of the LGBTQ plus community, because like it wouldn't gel. Like, if, you know what I mean? Like, a straight guy isn't gonna pick a gay guy, so then you have like people ending up alone or people ending up with no one to choose for a match, and it's just weird. So it's like, oh, conveniently, like, they're both bi, so if it doesn't work out with each other, they can just pick a guy again, which is stupid. And it, like, based on the previews or whatever, they don't end up together. So like, essentially you really did just like the stereotypical, like, you know, girls who are bi just want to like mess with girls and experiment, but then they go back to guys. Like, that's essentially the stereotype that was put out there. That's just my opinion though. I am not part of that community, so take my opinion with a literal 1 grain of salt or don't take it at all. It was like they tried to do what people were telling them to do, but just not in a good way. Because again, so stereotypical and so like, oh, bisexual people just don't know what they want and they're confused, and I felt like it's just gonna be agreeing with that message. It's clear that they do not like continue on for the whole show. And if I'm wrong, I will be so wrong. I will be so shady if I'm wrong. In episode 8, Inez starts to realize she has feelings for Dom. But since she didn't act on them, now he has Georgia. It feels weird. She doesn't want to act on them. But Carousel, of course, is in the background being messy, telling her, like, you just have to tell him. Which is true. We kind of agree with. So then we get Inez telling Dom how he feels. Georgia finds out what she said. Georgia starts flipping out, like saying how, oh, they probably have secret feelings for each other. They're always on each other and talking to each other and counting on each other, which is stupid to put on him just because she admitted her feelings. Like, you haven't even given him a chance to speak and say, like, no, I don't like her. Like, you're fine, we're fine. So it's like, chill out. I just think she overreacted. It was a lot. Later on, she's like, you know, it was a lot to handle. They end up matching with each other at the end. He's like, I like you. And he actually asks her to be his girlfriend at the end of this. So I guess that's a solid match, unless she breaks it up. Because Dom's not with his loyal self. Next, we have Francesca realizing she doesn't want Damien. But instead of just admitting, you know what? There was just a sexual attraction there, but it's gone now that, like, this is real. Oh, no. She has to play victim. She has to find a reason that isn't herself, you know? And so now it's, oh, because his ex said he was bad in bed. She doesn't know if he has feelings for her or if he just wants to have sex with her to prove he's not bad in bed, which doesn't even make sense because it's like, you could just end up saying he's bad in bed too, and then what good would that do him? Like, you sound dumb. Just admit that you don't like him anymore. Like, why do you have to put up this front? So, of course, our matches, we have Joey and Carousel, Dom and Georgia, Will and Diamond, which I think he just, like, matched with her just to keep her around. But Will and Diamond, Inez and Damien, which they end up kissing. I think they were both just drunk. But, yeah, they match with each other. And then Fran and Abby, which I guess we'll see how long that lasts. Oh, and Chloe and Mitchell. So for the matches, somehow, Nick just tonight decided that they're gonna do 6 matches instead of the 5. How convenient is that? How convenient is that? So no one has to go home tonight. We have Joey and Carousel, Dom and Georgia, Will and Diamond, Inez and Damien, which, like, that kiss, they were just drunk, clearly. Chloe and Mitchell, and Fran and Abby, which, you know how I feel about that right now. So Chloe and Mitchell end up winning the challenge. They go on their date, at which Mitchell's clownery number 2 self says that he isn't looking for a relationship right now, or doesn't want a relationship right now. And Chloe's just looking at him like, are you dumb or are you dumb? Like, sir, what are you on the show for? And once again, why isn't this show just flat out kicking people out? He literally just admitted he's not even on this show to find love. So a full half of the show he's lying about. Hopefully Chloe spreads the word and none of the girls pick him. Because, like, sir, you're a psychopath. Something's wrong with you. Why would you do that to her? And that wraps us up with episode 8 and all the episodes available right now. Quick predictions. The only one I really have that isn't related to the previews is Dom and Inez somehow ending up together, which I'm like, low-key, I'm here for. I hope they do. I feel like they're really close to a perfect match. Based on the previews, I see we're gonna have Elsie on. We're gonna have Nick and Shane back. Those are some possibilities of people we'll see. We see that it looks like Carousel and Joey might be having some struggles, but we don't know. So that's fun. Like this video if you enjoyed this recap. Comment down below your predictions. I definitely need your predictions on this one because a lot of crazy stuff happened these 4 episodes. So let me know what you think is going to go down in 9 through 12. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.